there was a room, not a particularly special room, but a room that would become very important to me. And in that room, there was a table, stainless steel table, cold, crisp, alarmingly clean. And on that steel table, there was a sheet pan. Now, I'm a chef. I've cooked a million things on a sheet pan. I've roasted vegetables. I've made cinnamon buns. I've baked cookies. But on this particular sheet pan, this day, in this room, is my daughter. We called her Acadia. I called her my little Katie. And I was wildly in love with her. And I also realized in that moment that I was going to be the only person to meet her that day. I was going to be the only person to meet her ever. This was our only time together. We were not going to have kids. We were well-traveled. We were thoroughly libated. And we were violently well-slept. Have you ever had 10 martinis and 100 oysters and then slept till noon? That's fucking living. And then suddenly, my wife's sister had a baby. And it looked just like her. And it looked just like their family. And we were like, wait, are we just not going to do this? And we just thought it was going to be easy. We decided, let's go. We thought she would be pregnant, I don't know, instantly, semi-instantly. A year later, no pregnancy. And we realized after some tests and things that we were IVF candidates and we were going to be living that IVF lifestyle, which once you start doing IVF, it becomes your entire existence. There's the shots. And not in the fun way, not the fun shots, but these are butt shots and tummy shots, and they are constant. And I think everybody thinks that's IVF, that it's like, it's shots and it's this intense thing. Actually, IVF is extremely boring and anxiety producing because it's just all waiting. You're just waiting for the next thing. And of course, you're waiting for the next positive thing. You're waiting for the next step forward. But in our case, we were really worried about kind of, the shoe falling, the other shoe dropping, or something bad happening. But we got 3 healthy embryos. It was amazing. We let our doctor pick the one that had kind of done the best, that seemed the healthiest, that seemed the most likely. And my wife was pregnant. It all happened. 20 weeks. At the 20-week ultrasound, there was the shoe, and it dropped. We found out that our little baby girl, we found that out right then too, that she was a girl, had a 1 in 50,000 pregnancies injury. And it was 100% fatal. There was no way that she would live. And we were given 3 impossible choices. 1, carry the baby to term. At which point my wife would go through labor. Wildly traumatic for her and intense. And our baby would live for anywhere from a minute to an hour, but she would definitely die. Number 2, induce labor right then, which just seemed wild and just too intense, I think. And then the third option, which we live in a state and this was available to us, was a D&E, essentially an abortion. And to be particular about it, a late-term abortion. This was going to end up happening in about 21, 22 weeks. And that's the option that we chose. It kind of seemed like that was the only thing we could have chosen. And then thank God that we were able to choose that. So I'm back at the table, and I'm with Katie. And I'm touching her red hair, and I'm kissing her little pink toes and fingers. And then our time is over. And it's the last moment that I'm going to see her. I arrive in the recovery room, and my wife is kind of blinking herself awake. And there's this nurse that's kind of softly, sweetly whispering in her ear. And she's saying, behind this big mane of red hair, "Hi, welcome back. You're great. I'm Katie." And this fair-skinned, red-haired nurse, our baby Katie was fair-skinned, and I saw her hair, and it was red. It turns out that she is from my hometown in Colorado Springs. We have mutual friends. There's all of these things that are just kind of, we know it's Katie, our Katie, blinking and winking and blowing us a kiss from beyond from the other side. And she's saying, "I'm okay. You're okay." And we were. 5 years later, we now have a 2-year-old frat boy who's awesome and loving and punchy and all the things that a 2-year-old boy are and should be. And all the time, he asked me to tell him stories. And he loves to hear stories about Katie. And I always tell him, "Hey, I really wish you could have met her, because you would have thought that she was so cute." Thank you.